Sometimes it hits without warning, a pause in the middle of a quiet evening where you find yourself staring at your investment statements, a lukewarm cup of coffee in hand, and thinking, am I really on track? Could I be missing something that changes everything? It's not panic, it's not exciting, it's a subtle moment of awareness, and it's where clarity begins. My name is Anderson, and I've spent over 15 years studying how people navigate money, markets, and the tension between fear and opportunity. What I've learned is that wealth doesn't arrive with fanfare. It grows quietly, invisibly, and in ways most people overlook. Most people believe that significant wealth requires huge starting capital, insider knowledge, or extraordinary luck. They look at headlines, financial magazines, or social media stories of millionaires and assume the game begins with millions. Here's the contrarian truth. The real starting point is far smaller, sometimes as modest as $50,000, and the rules change once you cross a certain threshold of consistent action and compounding. It's not dramatic. It doesn't announce itself, but the transformation it triggers is profound. The unexpected turning point often comes without warning. You've been contributing steadily, avoiding impulsive trades, reinvesting dividends, and letting time do its work. One day, you notice that the growth you once considered slow now seems to pick up speed. Your account isn't just increasing, it's gaining momentum. That's the invisible threshold, the point where your money starts to work harder than you do, where patience becomes powerful, and where compounding begins to visibly accelerate. It's subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but once recognized, the shift feels inevitable. Before that threshold, financial decisions are made under pressure. Every small expense feels consequential. Market fluctuations provoke anxiety. Emergencies feel catastrophic, and the world narrows around scarcity. Survival mode dominates. You second-guess every choice, endlessly calculating risks and adjusting behaviors based on fear. Decisions are reactive rather than intentional, and mental bandwidth is consumed by constant vigilance. After crossing the threshold, the same events feel different. Volatility is no longer a source of panic, but an input for strategy. Emergencies exist, of course, but they are manageable, optional, and sometimes even advantageous. You start operating from growth mode. Decisions are guided by long-term design rather than short-term stress. Your relationship with money changes. You begin to see it as a tool, not a master. The world hasn't changed. Your perspective has. Let's make it concrete. Suppose you start with $50,000 at age 30, contribute $10,000 annually, and invest in a diversified portfolio earning an average of 7% per year. By the time you reach 60, your account can quietly surpass $1,500,000. That's not luck, that's math. That's patience, discipline, and the quiet power of compounding. The remarkable part is how long it takes before the growth feels significant, and how consistent, measured actions eventually yield results that feel disproportionate to daily effort. The psychological transformation is equally powerful. In survival mode, fear dictates behavior. Small expenses carry an exaggerated weight. Decisions are made to avoid loss rather than create opportunity. After the threshold, scarcity diminishes. Decisions are framed in terms of opportunity, long-term impact, and optionality. Coffee, subscriptions, or weekend indulgences no longer feel heavy. Mental bandwidth expands. You become someone who makes choices strategically, not reactively. Delayed gratification feels natural rather than restrictive. Big decisions start to replace small ones. Housing, career moves, transportation, and long-term investing dominate attention. The individual who has crossed this threshold begins to operate with leverage. Walking away money enters the picture not as a reward, but as power. The ability to negotiate, to pause, to decline without fear reshapes outcomes. Posture, confidence, and intentionality alone create advantages that small accounts could never produce. You approach opportunities from a place of strength rather than desperation. Yet the milestone comes with its own subtleties. Lifestyle inflation is a silent threat. A $1,500,000 account might tempt the purchase of a luxury car, a larger home, or expensive vacations. Every choice carries an opportunity cost freedom traded for temporary satisfaction. This milestone is not a finish line, it is a foundation. Treat it as a seed. Discipline, patience, and intentionality ensure that the growth you've built continues rather than erodes. Acceleration becomes apparent over time. Compounding doesn't stop at $1,500,000, it multiplies. $2 million, $2,500,000, $3 million becomes possible through the same disciplined habits. The growth feels disproportionate because it was quietly building all along. This is why consistent, patient action far outweighs the frantic pursuit of quick wins. The identity shift is profound. Those who reach this milestone no longer operate under scarcity. Money is no longer the source of anxiety. Decisions are made from a place of clarity, freedom, and strategic foresight. Stressful scenarios become optional rather than obligatory reactions. Market downturns, unexpected expenses, or career transitions are inputs for deliberate decisions. Mental clarity, optionality, and resilience compound alongside your investments. Career and negotiation power shift as well. Offers are evaluated from a position of confidence rather than desperation. The ability to walk away becomes real leverage. Decisions that once required compromise can now fully align with long-term objectives. Strategic influence, clarity, and patience accumulate over time, producing outcomes that feel disproportionate to the effort expended. Opportunity cost reframing becomes second nature. Every decision is evaluated in terms of long-term freedom. A $50,000 car or an impulsive lifestyle upgrade is no longer simply expensive, it is a reduction in potential optionality for decades to come. Discipline lies in preserving future freedom and designing life intentionally. Every choice compounds, just like your investments. Finally, the quiet power of reaching this milestone is the ability to design life intentionally. Housing, transportation, healthcare, and investments are approached with strategic clarity. Mental bandwidth, emotional resilience, and financial optionality create opportunities invisible before. Emergencies are no longer crises, they are inputs to deliberate evaluation. Money ceases to be a source of stress. It becomes a tool to shape the life you want. In conclusion, the secret formula isn't a gimmick or a high-risk scheme. It's about starting small, acting consistently, and letting time and compounding do the heavy lifting. The threshold where money starts working harder than you is invisible until you reach it, but the impact is profound. Every disciplined decision you make today becomes a gift to your future self, a gift of control, freedom, and clarity. So remember, this strategy isn't about instant gratification or flashy wins. It's about laying the foundation for a retirement where your money works quietly and efficiently, where freedom grows steadily, and where life-level choices replace reactionary stress. My name is Anderson, and the steps you take now define the peace of mind, optionality, and confidence your future self will thank you for every day. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next video.